Well, you remember our former director, of course, Drew Kasani. He was the director of TMAC at that time. And this was early 2000s, Alberto. We started to have customers coming to TMAC, and they had heard about Lean Six Sigma. They wanted to figure out how can we take advantage of the Lean Six Sigma methods to solve business problems. And so Drew approached me and he said, I want us to start offering this as a new service for our customers here in North Texas through TMAC. And he said, I want you to work with Dr. Mary Johnson. Now, you may remember Mary, of course.
I do.
She worked at Utari, was a researcher there, and she had a strong background in statistics. I had a strong background in lean and knew both of us were good at both lean and statistics. She was especially good at the statistics side of things. So we went through some training, Mary and I did, to get qualified to begin doing classes. And I remember, Alberto, our first class was actually a dedicated class, and it was for Johnson & Johnson up in Sherman, Texas. That was May of 2003. Then in, I think that summer, 2003, we had our first black belt class. So that's kind of how we got the program up and going. Do you know about how many classes we've taught, how many people we've taught, Alberto?
You know, that I was looking at some of the data, and we had over 3,000 students that we have taught the class to.
Amazing, 3,000 people.
That's right. And just about 240 classes, including workshops. From those, we have delivered 86 green belt classes, 62 black belt classes, and 25 MVB classes. I do, and also want to point out that not many companies offer MVB training. So we have some demand for that, and we have a niche, a nice niche on that too.
Yeah, we offer a wide variety of things. I mean, we also offer a yellow belt training, of course. We've done more yellow belts, I think, over the last maybe 3 or 4 years, wouldn't you say?
Right.
As a we probably have done, though it's a 2-day workshop, probably have done 3 or 4 of those a year over the past 4 or 5 years, I think.
That's right. I think so.
A lot of companies like that. And then the champion and sponsor workshop, another 2-day workshop that is aimed at leadership, working with the management team.
And I do want to point out that we also lead Kaizen events, right? There are some companies that said, hey, you know what? We have this problem. We'd like you to help us out. Can you lead this group of people? And we also do those type of facilitations. So we have a lot of services that we can offer.
When we do our certification, the way that works is, of course, first students go through the training. They get a certificate that says they've successfully completed black belt or green belt. But then to get certified, they submit documentation of a project. And that's really where the question is, what's the bottom line benefit for the company? And so we look at financial impact.
And I can tell you that the financial impact is not a requirement for certification. This is something that it is what it is. So we have had projects that really don't have a big financial impact, but are a huge benefit. I remember one on for an oil company that's what's related with hand lacerations. And I remember that, and I said, and he put in the pictures before and after, and it was, a huge impact. So when that project was completed and I reviewed it, I called the deployment champion of Lean Six Sigma for this oil company. I said, you know what? You need to implement these solutions in the other plant because, you have the solution, it's just replication. So that was one that didn't have a huge financial impact, but it was really good for the safety of the employees. The one that I remember, it was a black belt class that we taught. There was a VP from a hospital in the Metroplex area, and he was doing some implementation on some of when they have some operation or surgery, they were not accounting for all the steps that was putting in place. So he created a process for that, and he did the deployment at the hospital in Dallas, and the financial impact was $4 to $5 million a year. And then he replicated in other hospitals in the states, the Texas and surrounding states. And the financial impact for that project was about $58 million. That is
Wow.
That is a boatload of money. There is some other ones that I've seen in other industries. One from aerospace was $16 million. And then another one from food and beverage was $6.2 million. And then I have one from the oil industry, $7.2 million. So it's a gold mine opportunity. You never know.
Sure.
You know, Ross, one thing that we did not mention was we haven't talked about this project that we call the quick wins, right? When you do a detailed process map, you find things that are broken. And once you start looking at the process in detail, you know, it doesn't take a rocket science solution. Sometimes the solution is so straightforward that it makes the project really very successful with some minute changes. And believe it or not, Ross, you probably know that when you learn this methodology, you start using it in, selecting a college for your kids or buying a car or getting a house or things like that. You pull up these tools and say, okay, what are my selection criteria? How do I weight it? And then, it kind of guides you to where you want to go to.
You just think differently. You see waste differently. You see opportunities for improvement differently. So it's a methodology that it's grounded in a lot of common sense. It's, as you said, a lot of it is easy to apply. You don't need a ton of data. You don't need a lot of statistical analysis to use some of the very best tools that are part of the Lean Six Sigma toolkit. So, yeah, I think it's been a major part of what TMAC offers our customers over the years. And I'm hoping that we'll move forward, continue to offer this, and have companies continue to see benefits from this well into the future.